Hi there. Today's movie review is a film from the early 70s which rates as one of the best British gangster movies, mainly for the first part of the film. It's a film of two halves, and I'll talk about how the two halves match. It was one of our favourite films at one time, and it was a particular favourite of Gary. Gary Spires, when we introduced it to him, he looked upon it as a training film almost. And I remember he saw it numerous times. And one time we went to Manchester to Davyhulme, which was a pretty rundown area, to a small cinema just to see performance. The first part of the story concerns the activities of a criminal gang who put pressure on businesses to join their enterprise, and it's run by a guy called Harry Flowers, who is played by Johnny Shannon in his first ever acting job. They kind of recruited him for the way he looked, and he was spot on in the part, I must say. But the star of the film is James Fox, and he plays Chaz, who's the enforcer for the gang. He's the hard man, and he has a little team of frighteners who go around putting pressure on people to conform and to let their businesses get amalgamated to Harry Flowers. And his two compadres in it is Stanley Meadows, who is a character actor from many British films. He was in the Ipcress File, for example, and John Bindon. Now, John Bindon was an actual frightener. He was on the London scene as a heavy in real life, and he dabbled in movies as a sideline. So the interesting thing about James Fox's performance is he had previously played public school guards officer types, very upper class with an upper class accent. Here he was playing somebody with a London accent, somebody whose background was in boxing, and he pulls it off absolutely superbly. You wouldn't really credit the difference in his previous films. Chaz is fastidious in his appearance. He dresses very well. He's quite vain, and he really revels in his work as what he calls himself a performer. The problems arise. He's going round and he's doing the job as required, and I'll put a clip of some of these scenes alongside the film. And one of the guys he has to intimidate is a barrister who is prosecuting, or the prosecuting barrister in a former partner of Harry Flowers, and they don't want him to reveal stuff in court. So everything's okay until there's an old friend and boxing compadre of Chaz who runs a chain of bookmakers, and Harry Flowers has got his eye on them, and he wants him brought into the fold. And this guy is played by Anthony Valentine, who at the time was a very noted actor, again, mainly upper class roles. He was in Callum, where he played Myers, and a very upper class assassin. So they go round, and Harry Flowers doesn't want Chaz to get involved because he doesn't want personal stuff mixed in with business. So they smash up one of the shops, but Chaz can't really stop himself from going around and crowing over it. And this leads to the bookmaker, Anthony Valentine's character, and a few of his mates trashing Chaz's flat and lying in wait for him and giving him a severe beating. At which case Chaz retaliates and kills at least one of them, and has to go on the run because this is highly embarrassing to Harry Flowers. And he overhears that there's possibly a room in this rundown mansion in, I think it was Paddington. And when he turns up there, all battered, black eye and etc., he finds out it's a guy called Turner, played by Mick Jagger, who is basically Mick Jagger. It's a Mick Jagger pop star who has turned into a recluse, and he's living in this kind of hippie mansion. Anita Pallenberg's there and some others, and they're heavily into drugs. Everything's draped in silks, and it's a hippie paradise. And Chaz despises them. He's making phone calls to one of his mates to arrange his escape, and he's sneering at these hippies with their drug taking, etc. But they spike him with LSD, and his mind goes, and he is then tracked down by the gang, and he's taken off. Now, as I say, it's a film of two parts. The first part is a real classic British gangster film, and it rates quite really highly in that genre. The second, you sometimes can't really make out what's going on. Bodies, kind of, you don't know. It's all kind of androgynous, and it's a very strange film. The second part didn't work for me much at all. However, it's still a film worth watching. The strange thing is, in art mirroring life, or life mirroring art, James Fox, during the making of this film, was spiked or induced to take LSD and other drugs, and it wrecked his mind. And he actually gave up acting for something like 12 years and joined a religious commune. So just a very, very strange twist to a story. He did come back into acting and kind of resumed the roles he was known for: top civil servants and people in the intelligence service and so on. His brother, of course, was Edward Fox, who was the star of Day of the Jackal. Anyway, as I say, it was kind of a cult classic to our circle at a time, and I think looking back on it, I'll put a link to where you can see the film, or you can just watch the trailer if you want, and you might be interested in it.